This confirms what we all feared as we have multiple huge Leafs updates to go over today ahead of a crucial game two. And these updates have massive implications, not only on tonight's game, but the rest of the series and the rest of the Leafs playoff run. I'm going to break down exactly what those updates are and discuss what it means going forward, as well as some interesting quotes from the players from both sides, including an interesting one from Craig Berube and some of the other players as well. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. Before we get into it, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Leafs content. About 71% of you who are watching right now aren't subscribed. We're getting very close to 17,000 subscribers. So if you want to help us towards that goal of 17,000, make sure to hit that button there. So a lot to go over today. Obviously, the Leafs play tonight, and something that is kind of lost in all this is the fact that the Leafs do and still have hockey to be played regardless of the injury. And we're all hoping that Anthony Stolarz is going to be able to play tonight. And we have some updates on his injury and his status ahead of tonight's game. But let's start with this. Matt Murray is now practicing with the Leafs, and he is going to be the backup goaltender behind the starting goaltender for the Leafs tonight, who all signs point to, and it is Joseph Woll. So Joseph Woll is going to be the starter tonight. We do have an update from Craig Berube on Anthony Stolarz, but you see here the goalies at the Leafs skate are Woll, Murray, and Hildeby. So Matt Murray's up for experience, and he is the backup goalie. So there's a chance he plays. Joseph Woll is going to get in, which means, like we all feared, Anthony Stolarz is out for at least this game. And based on what they're saying, it could be a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, it could be a little bit longer, but at the same time, they're keeping things very open, which I think is a great spot for the Leafs and Anthony Stolarz because it doesn't seem like it is a concussion. They haven't confirmed that he has a concussion. Not that, they would at this point. Obviously, not a lot gets out in terms of injuries from the Toronto Maple Leafs, but they haven't said anything about that. It seems like, he's fine from the wording that Craig Berube is using and he's just resting. So maybe he could be back as the starting goaltender for game three. But I think the biggest thing here is the Leafs fans and everyone should have faith in Joseph Woll because we've seen some good stuff from Joseph Woll in the playoffs before. Did he end that game on Monday well? No, right? Like I'm not blind to that, but he was put in a very tough situation without a warm-up, and I thought that he actually did make some pretty big saves, and Florida was really pouring it on at the end there. So I expect some pushback from Florida tonight, but I also expect Joseph Woll to be really good because, again, we've seen it in the past. So everybody should put a little bit of faith into Joseph Woll and the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they have a great opportunity to go up 2-0. But, in terms of Anthony Stolarz, he could be back soon. And again, I have all the faith in the world in Stolarz. I think he's played great. And, once he is allowed to return and can return, he should be the starter again. But for the time being, that's why you got, two goaltenders last season that can play. And in terms of Matt Murray, you don't want Dennis Hill to be in this situation if something happens to Joseph Woll, right? So you don't want Dennis Hill to be going into that game. That could be disastrous. Matt Murray, has he been good this year? Not really, but he does bring that experience, and I don't think he would get, really frightened by the moment if he does get called upon. So it makes sense to me, and this is why you have this much goaltending depth.
Yeah, and everybody's been talking about how the Leafs need the depth, the goaltending depth, and that Woll at some point was going to have to play if they wanted to make a cup run. Again, I think Stolarz is the significantly better goalie, but at the same time, we'll have to see. We have no other choice now but to hope and pray that Joseph Woll, he'll look better than he did a couple days ago there on Monday because he was thrown into the fire. He's ready now. The problem is we've seen with Joseph Woll, he'll make 35 fantastic saves, but he'll give up 3 or 4 very easy goals, and that's a bit of the difference there. I'm worried about the consistency, but regarding the lines here, we can see the lines this morning skate are Nyes, and we'll dive into some updates regarding Stolarz as well, but Nyes, Matthews, Marner, Pacioretty, Tavares, Nylander, Lorentz, Lawton, Yarncroke, McMahon, Domi, and Holmberg. So, and then of course Robertson can't remain out, and the blue line remains the same here. Any thoughts on this? No major changes. They're rocking this all the way through. And of course, in this case, the third line is Lorentz, Lawton, and Yarncroke, and they've basically been playing third line minutes anyway. Though I do think that, I guess, the fourth line on this, with the third line in general, McMahon, Domi, and Holmberg have been playing a lot better. It played a lot better in the first game and even towards the game 6 of the Senators series. But no major changes aside from, the starting goaltender for the entire year with some of the best analytics in the league is out. But I'm going to just not worry about that and hope that Joseph Woll can do it. And Joseph Woll just has to do his job in the sense of don't lose the Leafs the game, keep them in it. And regarding the lines, nothing too different there. Any thoughts on this, though? And, of course, you have the Leafs defense. They're going to have to lock in ahead of Woll and make his job a lot easier.
Absolutely. The defense got to play well. I think they've been playing very well. Even against Ottawa, the last game against Florida, they've been playing really well, and the way that they're moving the puck is awesome. So they just keep doing their thing, and they should be fine. I think Joseph Woll has enough to give the Leafs a chance to win, especially if he's starting the game, mentally prepared for the game, all of that stuff. And then in terms of the forward group, we've seen a lot of musical chairs sometimes. I think, being in game two of the second round at this point. We're going to see less of that. I mean, this is exactly what they want to roll with. It's been working. So that's fine. In terms of who's the third and fourth line, I don't even know if it matters at this point. Definitely the fourth line, or what's pinned as the fourth line with Lawton on it, has been like that identity line. You know exactly what you're going to get from them every single time. They've been giving good minutes for the Leafs where, they haven't really been scoring, but nothing's really happening on both ends of the ice. And I think that's fine. You're just eating minutes. So like that from them. And then, like you said, like McMahon's got to get going. That's for sure. I would love to see him score in this game because I feel like once he gets one, he's going to be hard to stop because that confidence is just going to go right to his skates. So I'm hoping that he can pot one here because, it's a long time coming. I feel like he should be a difference maker in one of these series as well. But hasn't really worked out that way, but I think that, it's not broken. Don't fix it. You had a great game. I know the whole story last game with Anthony Stolarz, everything like that, and Joseph Woll letting in a couple bad goals, but honestly, you played great and you shouldn't change much, except for the power play, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, power play was 0 for 5 in game one. And then, of course, McMahon, the Panthers are going to come out very, very hot tonight, obviously, whether it's physically, whether it's trying to get shots on goal against Joseph Woll. They're going to play a lot better. They played very bad in the first 40 minutes, but also the Leafs played very good. So if the Leafs can come out, if they can somehow grab game two here, they are in a fantastic position, regardless of Anthony Stolarz or not. So this is the biggest game in, a decade for the Toronto Maple Leafs here, to put it, quite frankly. So this is going to be, the nerves are starting to take in a little bit, of course, the Stolarz thing. The nerves made a little bit less. I've seen every hit the Sam Bennett's thrown. See 12 years old on TV this morning. Go ahead, run with it, and that's Paul Maurice. I don't love the quotes lately by Paul Maurice, but it is what it is. He's going to defend his player. But I want to dive into a few different things. This is Craig Berube on an update regarding Stolarz. He's recovering. He's doing well. No timeline for his return. Matt Murray will back up tonight. Why? Experience more than anything, and obviously makes a ton of sense. They also asked Craig Berube just a few minutes ago if he thinks Stolarz is going to return in round two, so anytime in this round. He said anything is possible. So take that what you will. Not the most confidence-inducing quotes here. I think it's going to be out for a little bit. Maybe we're looking at a game 3 or 4 rather than a game 2 or 3, or I guess a game 2, maybe a game 4 or 5. So it's going to be interesting there. Scott Laughton coming out and saying, win, that's how you get him. Obviously talking about getting him back for the Sam Bennett hit. I agree. I do not care if they go out for retaliation, in the sense of, if you win the game, Panthers down 0-2, of course you're going back on the road, then win the game, take care of business. And Berube saying that, there's no real update, but that if anything is possible regarding Stolarz' return. I guess it's good and bad. It's not ruling out a return, but it's also not super encouraging for those fans hoping, which is almost everybody, that Stolarz returns.
I think they're just keeping it very vague. We're not going to know until we know at this point, and that's just the way it is because it's the playoffs. And even all season, they were doing this with injury reports. So I don't mind it. Listen, like, does he have a concussion? We don't know. Maybe he doesn't, but it didn't look good. And obviously he left on a stretcher and all of that, right? So again, I think a lot of that was precautionary, but something happened there. So obviously he's not going to play tonight. Will he return in game 3 or 4? Like, that would be nice, but you just got to roll with the punches. This is the playoffs. Joseph Woll is ready to go. And I'm excited to see how this group responds because I don't think any of these players are dumb. I don't think, like, the coaching staff knows what's going on. They're prepping for the Florida Panthers. The Panthers are going to come out like a different team today, but they're also on the road, right? So they're trying to silence that crowd in the first 10 minutes. If you can kind of mix it up in the first 10 minutes, maybe you score early again, you have a really good chance of winning this game. And if you go up 2-0, you give yourself a really good opportunity to win this series. It's going to be tough going back to Florida, but you give yourself a really, really good opportunity here, especially with home ice advantage. So we'll see what they end up doing tonight. I think that both teams are going to be ready. The Leafs looked really good in game 1, so I'm excited to see what goes on here. But yeah, the best revenge is winning, and winning this series as a whole. Don't go after Sam Bennett. Don't get a stupid penalty, because we know how the league works, right? It's not going to favor you. So don't do that stuff. Beat them on the scoreboard.
Yeah, they're going to be. I'm interested to see how the refs play tonight. One quick note: I know the power play remains the same. They need to score power play goals tonight if they're going to win this series. The fact they went 0 for 5 and won the game, I mean, it was crazy. And hopefully we'll get a repeat of the game 1 against the Panthers, with William Nylander scoring 30 seconds, maybe faster, into the game. But we'll have a live stream following tonight's game, so make sure you stay tuned for that and let us know down below what your thoughts are on this. It's unfortunate, but the reality is the Leafs have work to do, and hopefully they can get it done.